Welcome to the latest episode of Budget Builder on Sorare TV. And this episode, we've got a very special guest joining us. The budget we've got is 0.18 to 0.2 Ethereum, which is circa $300, £250, depending on, whenever you check out the price of Ethereum. And we're going to be looking at a Champion Euro limited build with kind of specialist underdog, potentially kind of vibes maybe going on there if we can. And the special guest joining us to do that is Harry from Harry Trades. Harry, thanks for joining us, my man.
No, thank you for the invitation, mate. I really appreciate it.
So, Harry, who was your goalkeeper? Who was the first person you came across for this build?
So this is a sort of a build that I don't normally do, so I was out of my comfort zone a little bit. But yeah, in terms of the goalkeeper, I went with Benoit Costil, who is the goalkeeper for Auxerre.
Nice.
In League One. I think, I'm looking at right now, floor price is 0.068, recent average price of 0.05. Three decent fixtures coming up: Lorient at home, Stade Brest at home, Clermont-Foot away. His L15 is under 40 right now, but he does have some decent scores over the past few games. Last game was a bit of a no-show. They lost 5-0 to Rennes. But before that, they beat Montpellier away and he had a 62. They beat Strasbourg at home. He got a 68. They lost 2-1 to Lyon, and he got a 46 in that. And then they lost 2-0 to Marseille and got a 51. So his AA does seem like there, if that makes sense. And I think he could be a decent little specialist sort of goalkeeper if his L15 obviously stays under 40, which I think it probably will.
Yeah, I like that. Benoit Costil, I think when he was a kid, he was highly kind of thought of. He's definitely a name that's been around for a while. That's a great pick. The goalkeeper I went for is... but when I was scratching around Champion Euro, there is some decent cheap goalkeepers. Me finding one that I've not really mentioned too often was quite difficult. I kind of fell on my sword a little bit, and I went with the current Celta Vigo goalkeeper, Augustin Marquesson. So Celta Vigo look really good defensively at the moment. Don't have midweek football to worry about, so they're just rolling weekend to weekend. And Marquesson, at the ripe old age of 34, he's trading at about 0.37, I beg your pardon, which is like £40 or something, I think, off the top of my head, £50 or so. Which for a starting number one goalkeeper that's going to play 38 league matches, I just think it's decent value for money. I don't think he's incredibly amazing, and equally, I don't think he's ever going to really let you down too hard that often.
No, 100%. Yeah, I definitely get that as a pick. A lot cheaper than mine, to be fair. I found it quite hard to sort of... Yeah, because obviously I set up my team out in a specialist way, and it looked like I needed an L15 under 40 guy. So yeah, there weren't many for me to choose from, but yeah. I do enjoy that pick, to be fair, from you.
In defence, who did you go for, Harry, yourself?
So I went for Caio Henrique, who is a left back, left wing back.
Nice, yeah.
He's way over the L15 under 40s. He's got an L15 of 63. But to be fair to him, over the last couple of games, he's been on an absolute heater. He scored a 96 with one assist away to Nice in a 1-0 win. Then he scored a 51 in a 1-0 win away in the Europa League. And then he scored 99 on the weekend. 2 assists against Lyon in a 2-1 win, so no clean sheet. Probably would have... If he could have scored over 100, he would have. Play this on set pieces, something I'm quite big on Sorare. I do like my players to, if they can, be set piece, dependent, and sort of all his assists seem to come from corners. And his floor price is 0.031 and his recent average is 0.032. So yeah, hasn't really moved much, I don't think, in the last sort of couple of days. And yeah, somebody who I really do rate, to be honest.
I think that's a solid shout, My defender is kind of similar. Rami Bensebaini, he's on an absolute heater at the moment as well. His L15 is 64. What's maybe holding him back a little bit is he's just not played 100% of matches in the last couple of games. He's always good to get a bit of rotation or get a wee niggly knock or something, But his floor price at the moment is 0.0265, which is less than the big threshold payments these days, really. And he's a guy that takes corners. He can score from open play as well. He's a very attacking fullback. And, very similar to your Caio Henrique there, as a left wing back, they offer so much high points potential, even if they don't keep the clean sheet, as long as they don't concede a stupid amount of goals, And again, similar to my goalkeeper, Bensebaini doesn't have any midweek really to worry about. So hopefully that kind of injury record he suffered with over the last couple of years doesn't really bother him as much.
That's a really good pick. I'm a massive fan of Rami. And he does take penalties as well. He's known to slot a few pens now and again. Yeah, the one thing I didn't mention, obviously, with Caio is they do have midweek. So that is something to take into consideration. But his next 3 league games, Stade de Reims, away, Nantes at home, and Montpellier away, which are a decent enough fixture. I think I know there's going to be Europa Leagues in between that. Fancy him to go on a continued heated.
I'll definitely go on with that as well. So when you got to midfield, Harry, were you still picking up set piece takers in?
I did, mate. Yeah, I try. I mean, I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but I've managed to pick up. So I'm going with my 5 players. 2 of them are midfielders. So my extra player is a mid as well. But yeah, the first midfielder, Florian Kainz, midfielder for Cologne in the Bundesliga. Yeah, again, a set piece taker. Last couple games have been a bit iffy. Only got 75 on the weekend in a 1-0 loss. And a 56-minute in the game before that, but that was in the Europa League against Nice. Before that, though, he scored 100, flat out, 2 assists, 1 goal, played left attacking midfield against Wolfsburg. And yeah, player that I've sort of known about for a while, does struggle with injuries, like historically, but when he does get a run of games, he seems to really be decisive capable. And like I said, set pieces is one of his sort of bread and butters. And yeah, 0.01 floor price.
Wow.
Which is pretty tasty.
But Florian Kainz at that price is ridiculous, I think. You know, the bang for buck you can get out of that with the midweeks as well is fantastic.
100%. And yeah, Bochum away is their next league game. And then they play Dortmund away, to be fair, and Gladbach away. So I wouldn't say his league games are that favourable, especially the last 2. But like you said, with midweeks as well, there's definitely scope there for him to go on another heater.
My midfielder is maybe a little bit similar. Is Julian Brandt at Borussia Dortmund. Now he's started to pick up form in a big way. Like if you look at his last 7 games, 2 of them he's got 29 and 28 points. The other 5, he's over 60. And in one of them, he's broke 85. He's got to 86, And he's starting to get assists, starting to get goals, getting more and more minutes. And again, similar to the other guys they've maybe had a wee injury history, hopefully, that's getting by them. They're getting to be the best version of themselves. Not really the designated set-piece taker, but he does take some free kicks and stuff. But he's not going to be taking penalties ahead of Royce or any of these kind of guys. But very handy, very creative. And his floor price at the moment is 0.0326, which is, I think, again, like 50 quid or something, So for a guy that'll be playing midweeks and weekend and a very attacking team, I think that's great bang for buck for a champ Euro mid.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I've always rated him as a player. He's probably not fulfilled his potential as much as I'd like to have seen him do since moving from Leverkusen. But yeah, a player with, scored some freakishly good goals. Over the last few seasons and stuff. And yeah, very, very technical player that I definitely rate for sure.
I think both these teams we're building are pretty strong so far. I don't know if we're going to be reaching any underdog criteria with some of these guys, but definitely the bones of like a foundation you can run in Specialist and then plug and play some L15 under 40 cards. Did you manage to get an L15 under 40 for your striker, Harry? Or how did the striker go?
Yeah, so I did, mate. To be fair, I don't know if he was my first pick. I don't know whether I've sort of blown my budget on him, to be completely honest. But yeah, he comes in the form of a Ferran Torres forward card. Floor price is 0.057, recent average of 0.0617. Look, he's not somebody that's going to play in the Champions League games, especially the big games like maybe your Barcelona's, Bayern Munich's tonight. But for the weekend games, like I've got his 3 next fixtures, or Barca's 3 next fixtures in the league is Elche at home, Mallorca away, and Celta Vigo at home. So I'd be shocked if he didn't start at least 2 of them, and I'd be very shocked if he didn't perform and get a few DAs in those as well. To be honest, I know he is a very expensive sort of addition to my little team, but the fact that he is L15 under 40 and he is Ferran Torres is kind of what makes him the price he is, I guess.
It's a bold move. It's a very brave move as well. When you said there, I don't know if I blew my budget on it. I thought you were going to come out with I was really close to blowing a lot of my budget on Immobile. He's like half of the budget, but he is like a goal machine, So I was thinking maybe something like that. But Ferran Torres, that's quite a bold shout, Harry. Could pay off quite big. Obviously, like you say, good fixtures there for him.
Yeah, I just think it's it'd be definitely like a domestic buy. I wouldn't be buying him for the midweeks for no chance.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
agreed. My forward is, I guess, a weekend shout as well, and it is at the ripe old age of 34, 35, Iago Aspas, whose L5 is 73, L15 is 66, and he is getting younger every season. He is defying biology, and he just keeps getting better and better. He does not go a game without a decisive at this point. Celta Vigo, I think, are going to, he doesn't have any midweeks to mess about with as well, like I mentioned, and a guy like him that can just go weekend to weekend. And what feels like the prime of his career is he's going to have a great season. You know, these scores, I see them continuing throughout the season. Him getting a decisive with some decent AA. He does take free kicks. He does take set pieces himself. Is very repeatable. And his floor price at the moment is under 0.05. It's 0.0497, which is fantastic for a champ Euro player that can get over 70s like on the reg. Yeah, maybe after this season you're having some question marks, whereas Ferran Torres is probably just going to ascend over time. But particularly between now and like the turn of the year, I think he's a great like pounds per point card, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you massively there, mate. He's the main man there, obviously at Celta Vigo, and like you said, he rarely misses a DA game, does he? And you know, what more can you really ask for from your forward? I know he's getting on a little bit, but I think he is good bang for buck for sure.
So when it came to the extra spot, Harry, where did you go? Did you go double defense, double mid, double forward? How did you try and attack this build?
I did it from like what did I have left price wise sort of perspective, and I think I've blown the budget by like 0.01 ish.
Sure.
But yeah, my player is Quinton Merlin, the left wing back for Nantes in League One. Yeah, he's just been phenomenal over the last couple of games. An assist last game in a 3-2 loss to Lorient. So he lost a load of points, obviously from conceding 3 goals, got a 14 AA. And before that, in the midweek actually against Olympiacos, he scored a nice dark green 81 with a 46 AA score with no decisive. So yeah, he's a player that, you know, is really, really highly rated by like your French sort of football experts. And another one, again, following the same format of my corner takers, he does like taking set pieces. He doesn't tend to take them from both sides, but he is, you know, predominantly, you know, obviously left-footed, so takes them from one side. And yeah, somebody who can not only get really good AA scores, he's somebody that obviously is in with a shout of getting assists as well if he's up and down playing that left back position or left wing back position, and obviously getting on corners as well. But yeah, 0.04 floor price and 0.049 recent average. So yeah, for a player that's that like highly rated, I think like he's not somebody that you would probably just buy for a couple of game weeks. He's more of a long-term hold, but they play Lens at home next game, Monaco away, and then Rennes away as well. So not that hard, not the easiest fixtures, but something, you know, I don't think he would struggle in tougher games, you know, because more interceptions, more tackles is only going to do him, or do his score good, basically.
Of course, yeah. That's a fantastic shout. I like that. And Quentin Merlin is a big fan. He's got a lot of fans on this channel already. Stish has got him, and he's been ranting and raving about him for a good wee while. So a great name to come up in this build, Harry. Great shout. My final card, when I was building this, I came across him and the price he was at, and I was like, there's no way he doesn't get into this team at that price. Currently priced at 0.0284, so just under 0.03 Ethereum, which is like 50 quid or something, is Luis Alberto of Lazio. L5 of 62, coming back into form, was highly rumoured to be leaving Lazio. It never happened, and he's just continuing off from where he left last season, you know, with Milinkovic-Savic in that Sarri ball midfield. And, you know, for the price he's at, takes set pieces and such as well. And, you know, my full team there, so Marcusson, Ben Sebaini, Brandt, Aspas and Alberto have a combined floor price of 0.174. So I think that's incredible bang for buck. It is like £250 almost on the nose in British. And I've just when I seen the price of him, I'm like, how he couldn't not get into this budget builder team because how cheap he is and how good he could be. And double mid basically is how I finished up, Harry.
Yeah, Alberto's a wicked shout, mate. I mean, yeah, some of his sort of peak scores that he's capable of, which we've seen last week, I think against Feyenoord, like a 96 or something stupid like that. Like, yeah, for that price, it sounds a bit too good to be true, to be fair. But yeah, no, I really like your build for sure. Really, really nice. Mine came in a little bit more expensive than that. The floor price is 0.21, but the lineup recent average price is 0.2 on the dot. So, nice. Just on cue there.
So between me being under and you being over, we're probably even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Harry, thanks very much for joining me on this episode of Budget Builder. I had a great time building that team, knowing that I was going to be going through it with you. And equally, I had a great time listening to your picks and the decision-making process that you went through when trying to decide where to look and who to look for.
No, thank you for having me on, mate. Out of my comfort zone a little bit, sort of picking a specialist Champions Euro team. I haven't haven't owned a champ. Well, I haven't played Champions Euro for ages now, so it's something that I'm not sort of used to doing. But yeah, really enjoyed. Really enjoyed sort of researching and sort of just finding the little gems of Champs Euro.